Pepper. Mason Guerra, an all-star at first base, bats cleanup. Another all-star, Devin Obie, bats fifth in center field. And Brian Art batting sixth, also the starting all-star for the East at catcher, bats sixth. Casey Sauke bats seventh in right. Kennedy Jones bats eighth in left field. And Daniel Rivera rounds out the nine at second base. Well, for the Commodores, it'll be Jacob Smith towing the rubber. A lefty, a junior from West Alabama, coming in, making his third appearance for the Commodores. In his second start, he's got a 1-0 record, 7 2/3 innings pitched, 11 hits, just 3 runs, 2 walks, and 13 punchouts. Last appeared versus Bourne back on July 13th, 4 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. He's a guy who really knows how to paint corners, Wyatt.
And it's something that reminds you a little bit of what the Mariners saw in that first home loss in the season way back after opening day, in which they fell to the Falmouth Commodores, their first loss on the season, in which Casey Hunt had 7 strikeouts, and at the time it was a single-game high against the Mariners lineup. This is a tall left-hander, someone who we were told actually has about 6 or 7 different pitches he can go to. How he can refine those down the stretch of this Cape Cod Baseball League remains in question after having an ERA of 4.3 this past year at West Alabama.
Mariners are on a 3-game winless streak, did have the tie against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, but their last win came all the way back against Wareham on July 14th. Lost yesterday by a score of 7-3, or 2 days ago, rather. We had the off day yesterday, and 7-3 score against the YD Red Sox, but yeah, it's just been a tough go. They did pick up a big acquisition in Kevin Karstetter out of Arizona State. He was fantastic, had 3 hits, also drove in the only 3 runs of the game for the Mariners. Really looking forward to seeing how he fits batting second here tonight.
And you have to consider that when you are able to find that situational hitting, have that sense of contagiousness throughout your lineup, it goes a long way. The Mariners certainly need to find bigger leads early on, if not find the lead in the first place. But they have Seaver King leading off. He's had some sacrifice flies since his return to the lineup, and he's been able to still provide that spark at the top of the lineup. It only remains to be seen how that can carry forward against a struggling Falmouth team.
Lefty versus righty to start things here. King digging in. Another huge pickup for Harwich since he's been back, but just the designated hitter tonight, not playing defense as we're usually accustomed to seeing. Seaver King on the season has been unbelievable, hitting a team-high .408 with a .979 OPS. Also leads the team in OBP and slugging as he swings and misses there to make it a 1-1 count. Underway at 6:02 here at Gov Fuller Field in Arnie Allen Diamond. 76 degrees and overcast here tonight. Nice and cool as opposed to last time we were here. You would stick to your chair by the time the game was over. Here comes the 1-1. Misses up high, 2-1. And King, a guy who's very aggressive, likes to find ways to get on base. He's been fantastic with the bat all season long, as we've alluded to. And the Mariners really happy to be squeezing a little more summer baseball out of him while he's back in town. 2 balls in a strike. Here's the pitch from Smith. And it's going to miss inside, 3-1. So it'll be King, Karstetter, and then Culpepper tonight to lead the game off for the Mariners. They had just 6 hits, as I mentioned, against the YD Red Sox, and really just trying to find a way to put some offense together, some consistent offense. Surrendered a handful of base runners as well, as that one's going to be in there for a strike to load up the count at 3-2. Yeah, but Harwich surrendered the bases loaded in the 6th, and they left 2 on in both the 7th and the 8th. Just a lot of missed opportunities. Also surrendered 6 unearned runs in the loss to the Red Sox. Errors have been their kryptonite. 3-2 pitch from Smith. Fouled back, and we'll do it again.
Falmouth leading the league in strikeouts this season, and Smith, someone who had 104 strikeouts to 43 walks this past season at West Alabama, now has a chance to be able to elevate that here, and hopefully he could get some starts despite Falmouth's struggles as of late.
Three balls, 2 strikes to King as the lefty comes set once more. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses inside and will skitter all the way to the backstop. Seaver King leads off the ball game with a well-earned walk.
Well, the Mariners we saw the other night in their loss to Yarmouth Dennis, a very crippling loss, if you will, for the Mariners not having first place in control anymore since the 5-game win streak ended before the first half ended. You just need to be able to get base runners on, but of course it only means so much if you're not able to capitalize and bring them home. They had left 10 on from the 4th to the 8th inning, I believe. My memory serves correct, because the Mariners certainly had a lot of runs they wanted back.
Harwich is really just fallen into a free fall, for lack of a better phrase. I mean, when you think about them starting the season 9-4, everything seemed like it was going to point to a deep postseason run, but here they are now, 3 games under 500 and 3rd place in the East. As that one missed outside to Carstetter, it's 1-0, 89 on that pitch outside. King over at first, nobody away here in the first. Devin Dobeck and Wyatt Kopelman along with you. No score from Gov Fuller Field. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Nope, it'll be a pickoff attempt, but back in there easily is King. Smith works at his own rhythm, that's for sure. Not too quick out there as Dominic Bacone, who will start for the Mariners tonight, we will see fire pitches as if there's no tomorrow. No time in between. A 70-mile-per-hour breaking ball that time. Makes the count 2-0 on the inside corner. And when you can have velocities that range about 25 miles per hour apart, that is really impressive. That's what we're going to see out of Smith here today, as that one will be ripped out in a right center field. Going out is John Spikerman, and it is going to be snagged for out number 1. I tell you, Carstetter gave that one a ride, but just warning track power as it's hauled in, and there's now 1 down.
And by the way, that Spikerman had to go after that one, just a testament to how much effort it requires to be able to move and cater to the hitting that Carstetter can provide. Had 3 RBIs in his season debut, and the RBI double in his first at-bat. But Kalen Culpepper coming up here just with 1 away certainly has to get one past the outfield, or into the outfield, rather.
Kalen Culpepper will dig in. Breaking ball is bounced in the dirt to start him off here. It's 71. Still no score here from Falmouth on a beautiful, nice, cool night for once. After all the muggy heat we've been experiencing the last week, it has been a weird weather season here on the Cape. That is for sure. Here comes the 1-0. There goes the runner and King, but it's going to be popped up. Foul territory. Going out to get it is McGregor, and it will drop down. Let's meet the Falmouth defense while we have a minute here. Falmouth's defense 9th in the Cape Cod Baseball League, 43 errors and a .963 fielding percentage. Out in the outfield, Gavin Turley's in left. John Spikerman's the center fielder with Nathan Humphreys in right. Third to first is going to be Kevin Brady, Kyle DeBarge, Travis Bazana, and Tyler McGregor, with Walker Yannick doing the catching for Smith. 1 ball, 1 strike to Culpepper. The pitch misses up high, 2-1. Be a big time for Kalen to find his way on base. Kalen, a guy who's had 4 multi-hit games this season as a Mariner. Pops that one up in the infield. Ranging over is Bazana, and he'll make the catch to the left of second base for out number 2.
A little bit of a rarity here from Falmouth and Smith, and the defense that's had to move behind him. Mentioned a moment ago, the Commodores leading all pitching staffs in the Cape Cod Baseball League in strikeouts, but already a flyout and a pop-out here. You take the outs you can get, especially for Harwich, which is ambitious to find hits early.
Falmouth also comes in with a 4.44 earned run average, just a touch lower than Harwich's 4.48 mark. Will be Mason Guerra, the first of 3 All-Stars in this Mariner order. As there goes King, the throw down from Yannick is going to be offline, and Seaver King picks up a stolen base. Moves into scoring position for a guy in Guerra who's been really hot this season. Came here late and has really impressed. Had, of course, that 11-game hit streak that snapped last week and named an All-Star. Thanks for all his efforts. Out of Oregon State, hitting .258 for the Mariners this season. Here comes the 1-0 from Smith. It's going to be wrapped out to the gap in right center field. Going over is Spikerman once again, and he hauls it in for out number 3. So the Mariners get a leadoff walk, but can't do anything with Seaver King as they strand him in the inning ends. No score from Gov Fuller Field. We'll be right back to meet the Commodores. On the other side, you're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. We welcome you back here to Gov Fuller Field, and we'll meet the Falmouth Commodores for Coach Jeff Trundy. Leading off in center field is going to be John Spikerman. Travis Bazzana, the All-Star, bats second at second base. Kyle DeBarge is the shortstop batting third. Cade Snell, an All-Star, is the designated hitter batting cleanup. Walker Yannick, the catcher, bats fifth. Tyler McGregor at first base bats sixth. Nathan Humphreys bats seventh in right. Gavin Early bats eighth in left. And Kevin Brady bats ninth at third base. It's going to be 1-0 to start off the batter in Spikerman. Had a few snags in the top half of the inning. As he rips this one out into shallow right center field, over is Obi. And he will make the catch for out number 1 here. Let's meet the Harwich Mariner defense. They are 6th in the Cape Cod Baseball League with 37 errors and a .968 fielding percentage. In the outfield, Kennedy Jones is in left. Devin Obi is the center fielder with Casey Sauke in right. In the infield, Kevin Karstetter is at third with Kalen Culpepper as your shortstop. Daniel Rivera is at second. Mason Guerra is the first baseman, with Brian Arndt completing the battery for Dominic Picone, the St. Joseph's product, who, as that one's lined out to center, Devin Obi making it look easy out there. Travis Bazzana retired, 2 up, 2 down early, but Picone out of St. Joe's. Righty, 5'8", 172-pound sophomore, native of Garnet Valley, Pennsylvania. Comes in, making his third appearance for Harwich. 0-1 record, 4.91 earned run average. His second start, 3 2/3 innings, 3 strikeouts to 4 walks, and 7 hits. Of course, you think about last time he pitched was back in Katuitt, I believe. And just ran into some trouble. There was errors that hurt him on the other side of the ball as he's going to even up the count at 1-1 now to Kyle DeBarge, the shortstop. Third pitch is going to miss outside. They appeal down, and it's going to be 2-1 now. DeBarge batting third tonight for the Commodores as he pops that one out of play, foul. DeBarge, a sophomore from Louisiana. This past season at Louisiana, 54 games, 371 batting average. 15 doubles, 7 homers, and 53 runs with 38 RBI. As Dominic Picone with a big strikeout, 85 on that one. and he rings up Kyle DeBarge for out number 3. It's a 1-2-3 first for Dominic Picone. Mariners coming up in the second frame on the other side of the break. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Into the top of the second we go. Devin Obie, Brian Art, and Casey Sauke due up for the M's. As Smith deals a breaking ball in there for a strike. It's 69 miles per hour, really slowing it down that time to make it 0-1. Mariners in their road navy uniforms as Harwich across the chest in red. Red numbers on the front and back all trimmed in white with gray pants, a blue stripe, and red batting helmets with the blue socks. It's going to be a 1-1 now to Devin Obie as Smith misses. Dangling that left arm. Comes set. Likes the sign and the pitch. That one's going to be chopped through the legs of Obie, it looked like, and it'll be 1-2. Falmouth wearing their home white uniforms. Says Falmouth cross chest in maroon with the F on it. Maroon numbers on the back. White pants, all trimmed in black with their camo hats as Obie goes down swinging. Another really nice off-speed pitch to retire him. And so there's one away here in the second. First strikeout for Jacob Smith.
Quite a powerful swing, but still a convincing first out from Smith, and he has to face Brian Art now.
Brian Art, the all-star starting catcher for the East, as we mentioned earlier. Art this season hitting .246 for the M's, 7 RBI as well, as he breaks his bat and lines that one softly over the second baseman, Bazana, who puts that one away. And there's quickly 2 away.
That was hardly a hop for the second baseman. It was actually playing a little bit on the pull for Art, shading closer to that second base bag, and hardly went halfway up the ladder in order to make the catch. A nice grab by the Oregon State product.
So now it'll be Casey Sauke who digs in. Sauke batting 7th in right field tonight. First pitch is bounced in the dirt to him, and it's 1-0. Sauke, a guy who's also had an interesting tenure here in Harwich, hitting .196 after he started the season with 2 hits in each of his first 3 games. So on the decline, but a guy who can put the ball in play and has really good in-to-out motion. 1-0. In there for a strike. Another off-speed 69 again. And so it'll be 1-1. Sauke slogging just .255 this season as well. Scored 5 times, does have the 10 hits, but threw 51 at-bats. The pitch is going to be grounded softly over to the Mariner dugout. Luckily, no one got in the way of that one, and it's 1-2. No score here in Falmouth. Top of the second, nobody on, and 2 away here. Sauke trying to get something started late for the M's, who really need to start picking up some wins. They dropped into 3rd place. Pitch is fouled off, and we haven't seen them there in over a month.
Think back to last time when the Mariners looked to Colin Rothamel, a really strong start, only won a few innings, but certainly one of his most endorsing starts on the year. Meanwhile, Harwich averaging its fewest runs per game in the Cape Cod Baseball League, needs to pick that up.
Here comes the 1-2. Breaking ball is grounded softly over to the third baseman, Brady. Kevin Brady fires it across the diamond. A 5-3 put out to end a 1-2-3 second for Jacob Smith. Heading to the home half, still no score from Gov Fuller Field. We'll be back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. The All-Star Cade Snell kicks things off here in the second, followed by Walker Yannick and Tyler McGregor. First pitch is going to be down low for a ball from Picone. 83 miles per hour on that pitch. Picone had a 1-2-3 first inning, pair of flyouts and a strikeout. 1-0 is going to be zipped in there for a strike, even it up at 1-1. Picone, as we mentioned, out of St. Joseph's, out near Philadelphia, as that one's going to be ripped into center field for a base hit. Cade Snell doing what all-stars do and leads off the second with a single.
That's a reason why he's able to transfer from Wallace Community College, going from the JUCO level to a program like Alabama, hitting near 400. And he's just getting that line drive contact, which is way too down for Devin Obie, even at that point.
Picone made his debut back on July the 5th against the Brewster Whitecaps. Now pitching his third time for the Mariners. Transferred out of Rhode Island, went there for 3 seasons. And his most recent one there had a 4-5 record with an 8.62 earned run average. As that first pitch in there for a strike, it's 0-1. 63 2/3 innings for him there. 76 strikeouts to 32 walks and 70 hits. Batters can definitely get to him, but when he has his stuff working, he's very tough customer out there on the mound. Takes a look over at first base, and back in there is Snell. Yannick, the catcher out of Sam Houston State, with a .390 on-base percentage this past season for Sam Houston. 9 RBIs and 4 doubles for him in Falmouth this season as he lines that one in the left field past the leaping Carstetter for a base hit. 2 hits in the first 2 of the ball game, for that matter, to start off the Commodores here in the second.
Picone certainly needs a win here, despite only making his third appearance, as you mentioned. He's gone 3 2/3 innings in relief, and you, of course, want to make sure that you can stay in this ball game. Just getting that ground ball contact is going to be crucial.
McGregor, the first baseman, digs in out of Northeastern. A Husky, so not too far from here. This past season was all CAA second team. Before his time at Northeastern was at Columbia when he elected to transfer. 1-0 pitch is cut on a miss right by him that time, and it's 1-1. Sun starting to peek through here at Gov Fuller Field right behind us. So not interfering with our vision right now, which is nice because I forgot my sunglasses today. 1-1 in there for a strike. It's 1-2 at the knees, and McGregor did not like that pitch, but will have to move forward. McGregor, a graduate student. Last game went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. Slaps this one foul to keep the count at 1-2. No score here in Falmouth, but Falmouth is threatening. They got 2 on with nobody away and a 1-2 count to Tyler McGregor. The pitch is going to be whacked way up in the air. Short center field. Culpepper coming out, and now Obi comes in, loses the hat, makes the play, and the runners are forced to stay put.
Tough out to make, especially for one of 5 from Northeastern this past season that hit over 300. A great reason why the Huskies were able to have a lot of success in the Colonial Athletic Association. Won 45 games, one of the best seasons in recent history of that program.
That one misses up high for a ball, 1-0 to Nathan Humphreys. Humphreys out in right field tonight for the Commodores. Still 2 on as that one's going to be lifted way out into the gap in right center field and past Devin Obi. Rounding third and headed home is Snell. Yannick right behind him. There will be no play at the plate, and it's a stand-up double for Nathan Humphreys. Pair of runs come in to score, and Falmouth on the board first. It's 2-0.
Just trailing Katuitt, and considering of the RBI production this season, Mariners have had a tough time in getting some late runs, or late runners home for that matter, to get those much-needed runs for those come-from-behind victories. Started to do it against Hyannis the other night, but we'll be playing out of a deficit early here.
Speaking of early, Gavin Early digs in, the 8-hitter for the Commodores.
I did not see that coming.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. I didn't know he was up next, as a matter of fact.
The Mariners still making all kinds of acquisitions, even this late in the season. They just said goodbye to Dylan Del Vecchio, their appearances leader. Del Vecchio appeared 8 times, and now was released probably to report back St. Mary's, as there's going to be a throw down to third base, and wow, they're going to say he was safe at third. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how, and this is going to draw out Steve Engler. I mean, Carstetter was waiting with the tag for him at third base, and he slid right into it. I don't know how you can even argue that he would be safe.
He's gonna give Mike Hinojosa, third base umpire, a piece of his mind here. He's just not happy. He knew that he had the best view of it from behind the bag, and the big runner in Nathan Humphreys was right there.
And I would imagine that the umpires would convene after this to kind of cross-check. But tonight's umpiring crew, speaking of which, calling the balls and strikes is Chris Kane with Anthony Brunetti at first base and Mike Hinojosa down at third. There will be no conference, and it's a stolen base for Nathan Humphreys, who is in at third. Brian Arndt with a fantastic throw to give Carstetter a chance for the tag, but Falmouth will take the extra feet. And, yeah, weird scenario this time. Infielders being brought in. Harwich not trying to be down this early on. No pun intended again with the early, as that one misses up high. It's 2-0 now to Gavin Early. Yeah, I mean, we've seen some controversial calls this year, but I think none more black and white than that one right there at third base. As a 2-0 pitch in there for a strike, it's 2-1.
Turley, another Oregon State product here.
As Turley lost his bat that time. Swing, no walk over our way. And so it'll be 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He hit .309 this season and had 24 combined extra base hits. Wouldn't be surprised if he can just get one on the ground here, perhaps even go opposite way. Harwich's defense is playing in with the runner and Turley at third.
Two and 2 with 1 away here and a runner on third. The pitch is going to be grounded past Carstetter's dive into left field. A run will come in to score in Humphreys, and a run that shouldn't have scored for that matter. And it will be a single with 1 away. And yeah, Pacone really running into some trouble. His 4th hit, he surrendered in the inning. Starting to feel a little bit like his start against Katuitt.
This is certainly different from what the Mariners have found themselves in these early deficits, mostly regarded because of unforced errors over the past week, as the Mariners have only won 1 of their last 5.
One away here, and a runner on first in Gavin Turley. Kevin Brady, the 9-hitter, will continue the inning. He's the 6th man up for the Commodores in the inning. As that one bounces off the leg of Arndt, they're going to take off as there will be no play down at second. It's a free 90 feet for the Commodores.
And the Mariners' second most pass balls in the league, entering today just behind Hyannis with 12. You have to be able to get control on the ball here just to prevent those unwarranted liberties on the base paths.
2-0 count as Brady lifts that one out to center field. Devin Obie under it, makes the catch. And so that will be out number 2 here. 3-0 Commodores on their 4 hits here in the second, having a big inning. And it will be the top of the order as the lineup card flips over for the first time tonight. John Spikerman flew out to center back in the first inning. He's got an RBI opportunity here with Turley down at second and 2 away. 1-0 count from Dominic Picone. Next pitch is going to be down low for a ball, 2-0. Inning started with Cade Snell singling. Then Walker Yannick followed up with another single. McGregor flew out to center. Then Humphreys doubled. Turley singled. And Brady flied out to center. This will be a 2-1 count. Spikerman swings right through that one. Picone trying to work his way back into the count. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Arndt going to snap down, and it goes into center field. Turley will try and advance down to third. The throw is going to skip by. And it's another 90 feet issued as Brian Arndt throws that one into center field, trying to snap off the runner at second. So 90 feet closer is Gavin Turley down at third base, but it's a 2-2 count. They will give an error to Brian Arndt on that play as well. That's typically the only errors he's picked up this season are snap throws down, but he's also made some incredible plays. So high risk, high reward for Brian Arndt. He's an all-star for a reason. So a rare blunder, definitely nothing to taint his name. 3-2 pitch is going to be popped up out in foul territory in the left side and falls down. Carstetter looked like he could have gotten there, but an awkward angle to run at. Culpepper was also in full stride along with Kennedy Jones, but it falls right out there. And so Spikerman will be able to stay alive. Three balls, 2 strikes. Picone, a big pitch coming. 2 away. Here it is. Got him. Strike 3. Picone picks up his second strikeout of the night. But the Falmouth Commodores break through for 3 runs on 4 hits in the inning and strand 1. 3-0 Commodores heading into the 3rd inning. Harwich looking for an answer. We'll be right back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Nothing says summer like Cape Cod baseball. Rooted in rich tradition and top collegiate talent, the Cape Cod Baseball League has been delighting fans and families for 100 years. Mark your calendars. The 2023 Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star Game takes place on July 22nd at 6 p.m. at White House Field in Harwich. Plan ahead and arrive at White House Field early to experience family-friendly festivities throughout the day.
Kennedy Jones, Daniel Rivera, and then the top of the order, beginning with Seaver King, due up for the Mariners here in the third, trailing 3-0 as Jacob Smith returns back to the hill for his third inning of work. So far, he's been great. Hasn't allowed a hit, just the one walk to Seaver King to lead off the ball game. Mowed the Mariners down in order, including a strikeout back in the second, a 1-2-3 second. That's where we stand here. Mariners still hitless, being beaten 3-0 here early on. Here comes the 1-0 to Kennedy Jones. Swing and a miss. Fooled Jones. Thought a fastball was coming. Swung at the breaking ball, and it's 1-1. A lot of action going on around the league tonight. Everyone playing after the off day yesterday when some teams were just making up games. Harwich, of course, had the night off, their first off day that they've been able to actually have planned. All the off days they've had before have just been rainouts, and then the off days are taken away. 2 balls and a strike now to Kennedy Jones, the South Carolina Gamecock. Leads the Mariners with 15 RBI. That one's in there for a strike, 2-2. Hyannis taking on the YD Red Sox at Red Wilson Field. It's 2-0 Hyannis in the middle innings. Chatham on top of, or trailing Katuitt 9-1. In the third inning from Lowell Park. Katuitt has been putting up some serious offense, as it'll be 3-2 now to Kennedy Jones. Wareham on top of Brewster, 1-0 at Stony Brook Field in the fourth. And Bourne taking on Orleans. That game just kicking off as well. Still no score. Here comes the 3-2 to Kennedy Jones. And he swings right through it and misses. Strikeout number 2. For Jacob Smith, and there's one away here in the third.
Commodores have won 7 of their last 10. They're starting to find some rhythm again, the Cape Cod West Division standings. A good reason for it behind it as well, has 90 strikeouts over the last 10 games. And right now, the starter in Smith looking like a perfect fit here against a right-handed dominant Mariners lineup.
3-0 Falmouth here. Devin Dobek, Wyatt Kopelman along with you at Gov Fuller Field for the final time this season as Rivera watches strike one drop in at 79 miles per hour. And you mentioned the standings, Wyatt. It's starting to get a little interesting out in the West. Typically, it's been the East that's been more compact this season, but the West now starting to be a little bit of a closer race within reach. It's 1-1 to Rivera, but Katuitt leading it with 44 points at the top, followed by Hyannis, who's just 3 games back in second. Margin used to be double digits, but now just 6 points. 38 points for Hyannis. Bourne then next with 33 points, as this one's going to be rolled softly over to the third baseman and Brady on to first. And a nice job with the stretch by Tyler McGregor to record the out. And the Mariner order will flip back to the top for the first time tonight in Seaver King. But continuing on with those standings, Bourne just 5 points behind Hyannis with 33, then Falmouth with 32 right on their tail. And then it drops off with Wareham 4 games behind the Commodores and almost half the points of Katuitt, 44 versus 24. So definitely going to be an interesting race to see how all the playoff seedings shake out in the West. Just about 11 more games after today for the Mariners. And same for the Falmouth Commodores. Be 1-0 to Seaver King as that one misses at 70 miles an hour. King's been the only base runner for Harwich. He walked and then went on to steal a base before being stranded. The pitch. Misses inside, 2-0. Kevin Carstetter on deck should we get there. He gave a ball a ride in the first inning out to deep center field before it was snagged by Spikerman. Be a great opportunity for him to pick up his 4th RBI if King can get on. 2-0. Big swing and a miss. Hitters count. Seaver King fooled by that one. And it's 2-1. Fourth pitch of the AB coming from Smith. Here it is. And it will be in there for a strike, although it wasn't snagged by Yannick. And so it'll be 2-2. And Harwich just getting shelled this time. Did make the error, but it wasn't costly for the Falmouth Commodores. Or rather for themselves. 2 balls, 2 strikes. King awaiting the 5th pitch of the at-bat. And here it is from Jacob Smith. And it's going to be lined, but foul. It clangs off the camera, I believe, on the third baseline. Maybe the dugout, but a scary shot that time. And King gives a thumbs up over there to make sure everybody's okay. That was a laser that could have been trouble to the Falmouth media crew down there next to the Harwich dugout. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch to King. Breaking ball misses outside, 3-2. I'll tell you, he's put together a pair of really good at-bats, making Smith work. King alone has made him throw upwards of 15 pitches already in the ballgame, just himself. Just about set for the payoff. Here it is. Fouled back. And so we stay at 3-2. Seaver King putting up a good fight. Seems really locked in out there. Knows his team has really been struggling in the offensive department. Talked about Harwich sliding back into 3rd place for the first time in over a month. They sat at the top of the East for a while before falling into 2nd behind the Red Sox and now behind Orleans as well. Payoff pitch is going to be grounded softly once again over to Brady, but he boots it on the short hop, couldn't corral it, and so it'll be, we'll see how they score it.
Wasn't a very hard hit ball, plenty of ordinary effort to draw there from Brady at 3rd. I'd have to think it's going to be an error.
I would have to agree with you, Wyatt, but still no indication yet.
And he did keep it in front of him as well, which makes it a little bit more, I guess, conspicuous to try and determine which is which.
I would imagine this will go down as an E5, but Seaver King on with 2 away here. And they did rule it a hit. Wow, interesting. Maybe because it was slowly hit. As Seaver King back in there with a slide. A close play down at first base. Kevin Carstetter stands in that right-hand side trying to continue this rally. Harwich trailing 3-0 to the Falmouth Commodores. Big swing and miss that time from Carstetter, and so it'll be 0-1. Carstetter went 3 for 4 in the loss on Monday. Had a double in his first at-bat for the Mariners and then added a couple more singles, including a big one, a 2 RBI one, as he cracks this one into the glove. A big snag by Brady on to first. The throw in time. How about Kevin Brady making up for it? Full extension down the line, and then a strong throw picked out by Tyler McGregor to end the inning. Carstetter is retired. Wow, that thing had extra bases written all over it. But the Commodores get out of the inning. Mariners strand 1. We head now to the home half of the 3rd. Still 3-0 Falmouth on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Travis Bazana, Kyle DeBarge, and Cade Snell due up for the Commodores. They lead it 3-0 already, fueled by 4 hits. Mariners with just the 1 hit, still not on the scoreboard. Bazana flew out to center in what was a 1-2-3 inning for Dominic Picone before he ran into 7 Commodores in the second inning, 3 of which scored. Ball and no strikes as the next pitch is fouled back into the netting. And it's 1-1, 90 miles per hour that time from Picone. He's not a high velocity guy, more of a finesse pitcher. As 1-1, bounced in the dirt, 2-1. Picone's longest outing, 2 2/3 innings against Katuitt. Completing the inning here would be a new season high for him. 2-1, misses inside, 3-1. Bazana, an all-star this season, I believe starting in left actually for the East, a utility guy, as he fouls that one over to the Falmouth dugout. A nice play made by a Commodore. His counts worked full to 3-2. Bazana, a sophomore from Oregon State, as he pops this one out. Shallow right center, or shallow right field as Casey Sauke's under it. Puts it away for the first out of the inning. Second time they've been able to retire the all-star in Bazana.
Picone has just run into a lot of hard-hit contact against him here today, and it's not as if Falmouth is taking the right-hander of St. Joe's to the deepest counts. It's just a matter of them being able to pick out the right pitches, time them up well, and it's been a little bit too much for the Harwich infield thus far.
This one's going to be wrapped out into deep center field. Obi going back at the track, makes the catch in stride to take extra bases away from Kyle DeBarge. 2 up, 2 down here in the third for Dominic Picone.
This is where you need quick outs just to settle in. Steve Engler not warming up anyone right now down the left side here at Arnie Allen Diamond, but the Mariners, meanwhile, just only getting 2 base runners to this point, and it was just a leadoff walk and a single to third baseman. You really have to be able to just keep Picone in this one with your lineup.
Cade Snell digs in, and this is where the pitcher and Picone ran into some trouble back in the second inning. Snell led off the second with a single, and then it led to 3 Falmouth runs, including one which belongs to him, as the 0-1's going to be sliced out into left field. Kennedy Jones ranging over to the line, hauls it in for out number 3. It's a 1-2-3 third inning for Dominic Picone, settling back down here in the ball game. To the middle third we go. We'll be back on the other side, 3-0 in favor of the Commodores from Gov Fuller Field. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. To the middle third we go, 3-0 in favor of the Falmouth Commodores. And for innings 4 through 6, my broadcast partner taking over as usual on play-by-play duties. Wyatt, take us away.
All right, Devin, the Mariners behind 3-0 here at Gov Fuller Field against the Falmouth Commodores, a team that has won 6 of its last 10. Kalen Culpepper due up here in the 3 spot. First pitch, a slider missing outside for ball number 1. Culpepper 0 for 4 with a run scored and a walk in that 7-3 loss versus Yarmouth Dennis before the Mariners' day off yesterday. Harwich now winless in its last 3 games with a pair of losses and a tie. That one being 5-5 against Hyannis in 8 innings. 1-0 bounces in the dirt. And it's 2-0 here to the Memphis native in Culpeper. Stands at 6-0, $1.85. No runs on a hit for the Mariners. Just an infield single from Seaver King back in the third with 2 outs. Harwich with 2 base runners to this point as well. A 2-0. Curveball misses low. It goes to 3-0. This is the reserve sense of discipline that Kalen Culpeper brings here to the lineup. 4 multiple hit games through 12 games here in Harwich, including before he left for Team USA for the collegiate national team. A lefty-righty battle here. 3-ball pitch, a fastball just at the belt, goes to 3-1. Harwich and Falmouth scoreless into the bottom of the second before a 2-run double and an RBI single to give the Commodores a lead. 3-1 offering, slider outside, and it's a 5-pitch walk here to Kalen Culpeper. So Culpeper, despite being known for his RBI hitting, he picks up his 7th walk on the season, hitting just under 260, as that gives the Mariners their 3rd base runner today. Draws in Mason Guerra with the Mariners behind 3-0 here on a gorgeous night. Just a few stray clouds in the outfield. Floodlights starting to come on here at Gulf Fuller Field. Harwich taking its first road game here back on June 26th. Mason Guerra of Oregon State watches a first pitch fastball on the inner half for strike number 1. 0 for 1 here today as he flat out to center field back in the first, as Harwich only brought 4 to the plate in the opening frame. Smith out of the stretch, the West Alabama product, fires back onto first as the southpaw is too late against a speedy Culpeper, with Harwich trailing 3-0 here in its interdivision clash with Falmouth. Another check back over at first, unsuccessful. Harwich, a team that has certainly lacked RBI production when it matters most, averaging the fewest runs per game in the Cape Cod Baseball League to this point in the season, just under 4.4 on a nightly basis. 0-1, a breaking ball on the outer half as it's going to 0-2 here to Guerra, the Beaverton, Oregon native. None away, 1 on here in Culpeper with a leadoff walk. Harwich looking to get its first runner in scoring position here today. Went down in order in the second, brought 4 against the plate in the third. A 2-out infield single from Seaver King, nothing doing there. The 0-2 from Smith. A slider high and away this time as it goes to 1-2 here to the cleanup hitter in Guerra.
Guerra, a well-deserving all-star, has really had a great offensive production year. He's been that one consistency in the heart of the Mariner order. Despite all the big bats and names you have, he's been the one that delivers the most efficiently.
2-strike pitch, foul tipped, just off the glove of the catcher in Yannick. Culpeper has 4 stolen bases on the season. Devin still with none away. Maybe wouldn't be too much of a revelation to see him in a hit-and-run situation.
And especially with the offensive production that Harwich has had, as you mentioned, the worst in the Cape Cod Baseball League as of lately, and wouldn't be surprised to see them try and put something into motion.
Smith comes set with the hands together at the belt. Still not away, and another try back over at first. And certainly looked like he was set to go home. He actually turned his head towards Guerra.
I was going to say, it looked like a balk to
yeah,
me from here.
Almost looked like it. He looked back not once but twice at that first base bag. A 2-strike pitch again. Fastball zips high above the letters, 2-2. Harwich behind 3-0 after a 3-run second inning, 2-run double, and an RBI single to catapult the Commodores ahead. Meanwhile, the Harwich Mariners, only with 3 base runners here today, are looking to slice into that deficit here. 2-2 is cracked out towards left center field, moving back Spikerman towards the 385 spot. And he moves to his right and makes the catch. Culpeper thought about going off for second, has the speed on what would have been a sacrifice hit.
He would have been.
It certainly is just a loud out number 1 all the while.
Yeah, no, they had a really good relay. Culpeper would have been dead to rights, not even 2/3 of the way there by the time that ball came in. Really nice job by Spikerman to get it in and avoid that opportunity for the Mariners.
Similar to Culpeper, Guerra hitting just under 260, but he's now 0 for 2 as Devin Obie steps in here. First pitch he sees, misses low on a changeup for ball number 1. Talked a little bit earlier about the pitch arsenal of Jacob Smith, the junior out of West Alabama, southpaw, standing quite tall on the mound, at least 6'5", has the tendency to go to multiple pitches in his arsenal. We've seen a lot here today. Pitch outside on a slider, it's high, it's 2-0. So Obi striking out swinging in the second, which the Mariners went down in order. It has been a very endorsing start here for Smith. 4.33 ERA in 11 starts, 12 appearances at West Alabama this past season. Obi looking for his first base reach today. A 2-ball pitch. Misses low, make it 3-0. Well, Harwich, in these past couple of innings, have forced a little bit more pressure here on Smith to deliver strikes. That is the third 2-ball count already delivered here in the inning, and the second 3-ball count for that matter. 3-0, a cut and a miss here. Looks like a changeup low or slider for that matter. It's 3-1. So Obi having the green light that time, already with a couple of home runs on the season. Had that 2-run bomb against the Brewster Whitecaps. A grand slam as well against Chatham. Harwich behind 3-0, a runner on and one away. Runner takes off, and Culpepper, it's a swing and a miss. The throw down to second on the bounce, and it's not in time.
Interference. They got him at home plate, Obi. Yeah, he did get in the way of the arm, and Yannick, sorry to cut you off, Wyatt, but it wasn't even going to be in the question because I believe Culpepper is ruled out too.
So Culpepper is gone, Obi is gone.
Or no, he'll just have to retreat to first, it appears.
I didn't think that was the case. Infielders and the rest of the defensive alignment were not conjoining from the field here as Culpepper goes back to first, and meanwhile Devin Obi is out on batter's interference. Haven't seen it in a little while, but Brian Arndt digs in now, still looking for that same opportunity to move a runner in scoring position in Culpepper.
And it was the right call. He did step over the plate in his backswing. Unfortunately, not something he did deliberately, just off balance at the end of the swing, and it did become a hindrance.
Inside, the back pick down to first, and it's not in time. Well, that was awfully close as well. Yannick trying for a bang-bang play to close out the side. So batter's interference, a fly out from Mason Guerra, still having a runner on first in Kalen Culpepper, would have had his fifth stolen base on the season. And a lefty-righty battle here to Brian Arndt. 1 on, 2 away here. Harwich behind 3-0. The pitch, a slider outside. So it goes to 1-1 here. UNC Wilmington product in Arndt.
Arndt hit a shot over to second base. His bat just failed him back in the second inning. A soft line out with that broken bat, but he's had a fantastic season, and rightfully so, will be the starter at catcher for the East.
1-1, Obi, or rather Culpepper almost taking off. Arndt swings through for strike number 2, that time a slider down low. 3 hits and an RBI over the past 6 games for the Holly Springs, North Carolina native. Certainly needs to give Harwich a little bit of momentum here. Had a leadoff walk in the first, 2-out single in the third. Still trailing by 3. The 1-2 from Smith, rocketed into left field for a base hit on the ground. Culpepper will hold at second as he trots onto the bag. An excellent piece of 2-out hitting there from Brian Arndt as he gets his first hit on the day in Harwich's 4th.
And Brian Arndt seems to always cash in high-pressure situations. 2 outs, runners on, he delivers. Every time he has clutch base hits when the pressure's on. We think back to that Brewster game. He extended the rally with a hit in the 9th. He's really done a fantastic job of situational hitting this season. Now just needs the rest of his team to find a way to keep the runners in line moving.
You talk about finding a way. Harwich with its 4th base runner here today, 2nd hit. Now runners on first and second for Casey Sauke as the Rochester, New York native watches a curveball float down the middle for strike number 1. 0 for 1 on the day. A ground out to close out the second. What was a 1-2-3 job for the left-handed starter of West Alabama and Smith as Harwich trails 3-0. 0-1, slider low and outside. Another back pick down to first, not in time. The first base umpire and Anthony Brunetti sprinted in to get a closer look.
Page out of Brian Arndt's book there, the snap throw down.
He's tried numerous this season, but unfortunately Arndt charged with an error just an inning ago. Big spot here for Harwich. Runners on first and second, 2 away, a 3-0 deficit. The pitch, a cut and a miss on a slider low. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Sauke. Likely not to see a double steal here, Devin, given that the Mariners don't have the most speed to offer. They have Culpepper on second, but to send both would be a higher risk. Smith out of the stretch. The left-hander set and deals. Yes, a drop third strike as Yannick makes the tag on Sauke, trying to run down a first for the final out of the inning. So the Mariners put 2 on the base paths, but batter out and a strikeout from Casey Sauke out of Virginia sends the Mariners into the bottom of the 4th without on the board, still trailing 3-0 as Harwich scores no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and leaves 2 on. We'll be back in just a moment here from Go Fuller Field. Harwich behind 3 here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Dominic Picone, the right-handed starter out of St. Joe's of the A-10 Conference, back on the mound here to get the 4th inning going here against the Falmouth Commodores, a team that has won 6 of its last 10. Walter Yannick, Tyler McGregor, Nathan Humphreys due up here against the right-hander at 5'9". He winds and deals the first pitch and deals a slider on the outer half. First strike number 1 here to Yannick. Earned a single in the second in what was a 3-run frame for Falmouth. Picone working quickly, deals the slider, cut on and missed low for strike number 2 here. Harwich behind 3-0 with no runs on 2 hits and error committed. Meanwhile, Falmouth with 3 runs on 4 hits, and they originated back in the second, a 2-run double from Humphreys and a run signal from Turley. The pitch taken outside, and it gets called looking. Yannick goes down on 3 strikes here. He's set to go down anyway, as he was already walking back to the dugout as there's 1 away here in the 4th.
Dominic Picone starting to settle back in. How about 5 straight retired for him, or rather 6 for that matter. Really starting to become more even-keeled out there and work in an efficient clip. It's been a nice little job to settle in here.
Settling in, Picone with now 6 strikeouts on the season, entered with 3 strikeouts and 4 walks. The first pitch low and on the corner here to Tyler McGregor, the first baseman out of Northeastern. Flat out to center field back in the second as Harwich trails Falmouth 3-0 here at Go Fuller Field. The 1-1 from Picone, it's a swing and a miss, and it goes to 1-2 here. 1 away in the bottom of the 4th, a looking strikeout to Walter Yannick. Nathan Humphreys on deck. The 2-strike pitch. Right-handed Picone misses high above the letters to make it 2-2. Well, Harwich still has 8 strikeouts per game in the last 10, Devin, so wouldn't be surprised here if Picone could rally off strikeouts here in the 4th to retire the side on Ks. Here's a 2-2. Swing and a miss. McGregor falls to 0 for 2 here on the day, and just like that, there are 2 away here in the 4th, 1 swinging and 1 looking.
Now a new career, or rather season high for him in strikeouts. Picone desperately needed to find a way to get punch-outs. His previous high was 2 against Katuitt, now up to 4. Really comforting to see him start to settle in. Harwich needs to have guys they can rely on down the stretch, and granted had that long second inning, but if he can pitch the way he has the last 2 innings, you'll take that any day of the week.
First offering to Nathan Humphreys, the 7-hole hitter outside for strike number 1. Picone working quickly still as he deals a swing and a miss. And it goes to 0-2 here. I know what we're both thinking, Devin. What is the collegiate high for Dominic Picone, the St. Joe's right-hander at 5'8", $172? It's 11 strikeouts on April 16th against Massachusetts. Back when he was still at Rhode Island, another A-10 program. Here's another 2-strike pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. Picone strikes out the side here in the 4th as he's really starting to settle in as Mariners force the Commodores down in order. Now 7 straight retired by Picone as Harwich goes into the 5th inning with a 3-0 deficit. We'll step away for a moment. This is Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. 3-0 deficit for the Harwich Mariners against the Falmouth Commodores. Interdivision battle here on a gorgeous night from Go Fuller Fields in Falmouth, Massachusetts. Wyatt Copeland, Devin Dobeck here with you as Harwich at 14-17-1 in desperate need of a win, but still looking to get on the scoreboard here. Kennedy Jones set to do up here as he watches a curveball that just misses low for ball number 1. Rising junior at South Carolina brings 4 hits in his last 7 outings. No runs on 2 hits for Harwich, 3 runs on 4 hits for Falmouth. Smith, the left-hander, deals. This one bounced over towards the left side. Off the mound to his right, the left-hander throws onto first, and it's in time. Kennedy Jones offered some speed that time, but the left-hander worked quickly enough, and there's 1 away in the 5th.
And yeah, I'm a little surprised with how nonchalantly Jacob Smith took that. Really took his time to set his feet, and then the throw was a bang-bang play, and a tough stretch for the first baseman of McGregor down at first, but hey, you'll take the out. Just not as pretty as you probably would have liked. Closer.
Smith, the left-hander out of West Alabama, did not move too lethargically to his right. The first pitch to Daniel Rivera, and the Southern New Hampshire product takes it down the middle for strike number 1. Nice changeup that time from the West Alabama hurler. Set to go to Kansas State, Rivera, batting in the 9-hole today. He's 0 for 1 as Harwich trails Falmouth 3-0. The 0-1. Changeup grounded to the left side, just past the third base coach and Mark Thibault. 0-2 here to Rivera with 1 away. Nobody on here against the tall left-hander in Cam Smith, or Jacob Smith for that matter. Cam Smith on Hyannis out of Florida State. Will be an all-star. Fair number of Smiths in the Cape Cod Baseball League. A 1-3 ground out, starting it off here for Smith, the left-hander for Falmouth. Here's a 2-strike pitch. Just tap back behind home plate. We'll do it again. Seaver King, the leadoff hitter here today, due up. But meanwhile, for Rivera, had 2 walks in that 7-4 home loss to Yarmouth Dennis, as the Mariners were unable to get a win to get back in the win column and start finding their footing again in the Cape Cod East Division standings. Devin mentioned earlier, now trailing Orleans and Yarmouth Dennis, falling into 3rd for the first time in over a month. Smith ready again, the 0-2. Slider misses low. It's 1-2 here to the New Britain, Connecticut native. Transferring to Kansas State after spending 4 seasons with Southern New Hampshire. This past season hit .365. A big stolen base threat if he can get on here. A 1-2 from the southpaw. Fastball misses high. Good take from Rivera that time. Something he's been able to keenly develop at this point in the season. Mostly batting the lower third of the lineup. Has seen a little bit of time in the 2 and 3 hole. Smith looking for his 4th strikeout here with nobody on and 1 away with Falmouth ahead 3-0 here in the 5th. The pitch. Sauter misses low. Some encouragement heard from the Harwich dugout for the 5'8 Rivera. Count runs full here. Rivera looking to get the first base runner here for Harwich in the 5th. Mariners won convincingly their last time here. It was their only other trip here to Go Fuller Fields. The payoff pitch. Breaking ball lofted to the right side, foul. Rivera really staying alive in this count after not taking Smith deep in the last time. Back in the 3rd, he grounded out 5-3 as the Mariners only brought 4 to the plate. Got a 2-out base hit from Seaver King. They have 2 hits here today. Slight breeze here on an 83-degree night here in Falmouth. Meanwhile, Smith looking for another strikeout. The payoff pitch, fastball cut on and missed. Well, Rivera stayed along as long as he could, but he goes down on strikes for the first time today, and it is the 4th punch out for Smith.
Yeah, and a little extra on that from Smith. Might have heard a grunt on that fastball, and good at bat from Daniel Rivera, and although it won't show up on the stat sheet, making the inning or the outing longer for Smith, and that will warrant a mound visit, and there's going to be a call to the bullpen.
So a call to the bullpen here as 12th-year pitching coach Mike Landry here in Falmouth takes the ball away, as that will be it here. A new pitcher set to come in, which looks to be a right-hander, as Harwich trails 3-0 with 2 away here in the top of the 5th in need of a 2-out spark. We'll step away. This is Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. New pitcher into the ball game here. The first call to the bullpen here for Falmouth. As Seaver King is due up here against the right-hander in Hunter Hodges out of TCU. Made 13 appearances. The junior right-hander set to face the top of the order here with 1 away, or 2 away for that matter. First pitch to King. Curveball misses inside for ball number 1. The final line on Jacob Smith out of West Alabama. Devin, he was magnificent, went 4 2/3, would have likely closed out the 5th here had he been given a little bit of a longer leash. 2 hits, no one runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Pitch lined over towards the left side, 1 bounce for Brady, fires on to first, and it's in time as the third baseman makes a solid play with a solid block just off the hot corner. A 1-2-3 job here between Smith and Hodges out of TCU as the Mariners go down in order again here to start the 5th. We're halfway home with Harwich trailing 3-0 at Go Fuller Field. This is Harwich Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. The Harwich Mariners trailing the Falmouth Commodores 3-0 here at Go Fuller Field on a near postcard perfect evening in Falmouth, Massachusetts. Dominic Pacone, the right-hander at St. Joe's, back on the mound here for the 5th inning to start. The first pitch to Gavin Turley, a fastball missing low and inside just at the shoe tops for ball number 1. Facing Gavin Turley, Kevin Brady, and John Spikerman, the 8, 9, and 1-hole hitters due up here. Pacone still working quickly. The 1-0 cut and miss, and a flying bat over towards the left side. It's about 10 feet to the right of the Mariners dugout. Spooks some few fans here sitting behind home plate. That is the 2nd time that has happened here today.
Yeah, no, that one was sent, though. I mean, flew out of the hand, and I think both were Turley, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think, yeah, maybe a little more pine tar next time.
He's wearing the black Oregon State helmet, which is what we saw the first time that bat went flying in his first at-bat in the 2nd, and knew it had to be him. The 1-1 deal from Pacone. Breaking ball taps to left side foul.
He did end up with a single, so if history said anything, Mariner defense better look alive.
3-run 2nd inning, giving the Falmouth Commodores their first and only lead here as we move into the bottom of the 5th. Turley with an RBI single to left field as he lofts this one over to the glove of Rivera. Line out that time as the second baseman of Kansas State was ready at the lip of the outfield grass, and there's 1 away here in the 5th.
And I guess they did look alive. That one was tattooed over looking at that first and second side hole, but Rivera ranging over makes a nice play. I tell you, he's been one of my favorite players to watch on defense ever since his arrival.
Pacone working quickly as he deals it low to Kevin Brady for ball number 1. Takes a bounce in the dirt with Harwich behind 3-0 here. Pitch. Fastball high and outside as it's 2-0 here to the third baseman. Senior at Merrimack. Pacone not wasting any time to go home and try pickoff attempts as well. Nobody on here. 2-0 misses high to make it 3-0. Flat out to center field back in the 2nd. And this is a Falmouth team that, aside from being 2nd in RBIs, as the pitch is taken down the middle for strike number 1 on a fastball just above the knees. Falmouth 2nd in the league in RBIs. The 3-1 spikes back behind home plate. Skied foul as the count runs full. Pacone doing a good job of battling back. He's done a good job of settling in as well, Devin, as he has now retired 10 in a row. Looking for his 6th strikeout here, setting that season high. We talked about it before. The payoff pitch. Slider tapped high And over towards the left side of the infield between him and Arndt, the catcher, and he steps off to his right and makes the catch. Good awareness that time by the right-hander of St. Joe's, as the right-hander has 2 down here in the 5th.
And that would have been a really tough play for Brian Arndt with the angle the way it was, kind of fading away from him as he was trying to run at it. Really nice job by Picone to take command and call that one off, or else it could have been a really wacky infield single.
Picone in his 2nd start on the season dealt 2 strikeouts, one of the best hitting teams in the league in the Katuitt Cavaliers. The first pitch to John Spikerman, a breaking ball just missing outside. 0 for 2 here today is Spikerman, the outfielder out of Oklahoma. A righty-lefty battle. The pitch, a bunt shown, and it's taken back as it misses outside for ball number 2. 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th. Harwich behind Falmouth 3-0 here at Arnie Allen Diamond. Strong crowd here. The pitch. Changeup clips the outer half as it goes to 2-1 here. Picone looking to retire the side for the 3rd straight time here. Has done really good to battle back in counts. The 2-1 offering high and away on a fastball. 3-1 here to Spikerman. Due for a hit, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Leadoff hitter 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. But Picone, you can tell his control fading as he fatigues. He's trying to dial it back in.
3-ball pitch, a fastball at the waist, well aimed that time. Nobody on here, 2 away. Falmouth ahead 3-0. Picone, a cut and a miss, and he went around. And the third base umpire, Mike Hinojosa, says otherwise.
I don't know about that one, Mike. He's made some really questionable calls tonight. Steve Engler really upset with him. I mean, talking about the runner at third who was ruled safe when he was clearly out. And now, oh my gosh. Yeah, that should have been strike 3. He really went around. It's been a tough night for Mike Hinojosa.
First pitch to Travis Bazana gets away from the catcher and Arndt as it goes all the way to the backstop that time. Looked to be a pass ball as the runner in scoring position. So the first base runner here since the 2nd inning against Picone into scoring to have a word with the right-hander.
And that's why you really gotta wish you had that strikeout call is the word I was looking to say. As I try and listen to what Steve Engler's still shouting from the dugout, but you gotta wish you had that strikeout. But yeah, it's just been another funky night, but Harwich can't be too upset. You only have 2 hits on offense, so you're not gonna win the game without scoring runs. So until you do that, then I think you gotta hold your complaints. But obviously with Picone, this deep into his outing, you really wish he'd just been able to wrap it up with that strikeout.
So Spikerman, despite falling into a full count, earned the 2-out walk and now into second on a wild pitch. As Travis Bazana also looking for his first hit. Stepping in here with Falmouth ahead of Harwich 3-0. Picone now out of the stretch as time is called here. The home plate umpire Chris Kane stepping away from the circle. The 1-0. Missing low, and it gets just off the glove of Arndt as Spikerman scoots into third. Arndt was set for a back pick down to third, and he taps his chest saying that he wanted to at least try something there. Falmouth not scoring since the 2nd. The pitch low and inside. Runner on third in Spikerman. He steals Falmouth's first base on the night. The next pitch low and inside. So now 3 balls and no strikes here. The prior pitch had been discounted. The 3-0 from the quick working Picone as it smashed back into the screen to make it 3-1. Bazana having the green light that time despite not having a ton of credibility to this point. Lined out to center field back in the first and flat out to right field back in the third. 4 hits for Falmouth, 2 hits here for the Mariners. The 3-ball pitch again, line over to the right side into the glove of Guerra. He hardly had to move to his left as the Oregon State product helps out Picone, the right-hander, off the mound. As now the home plate umpire and Chris Kane having a couple of words with the right-handed starter. And they're still jawing at each other as Picone motions back over to the Harwich dugout. 3-0 deficit for Harwich going into the 6th inning here from Gulf Fuller Field. The light's starting to come on a beautiful night from Falmouth. We'll step away. This is Harwich Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Harwich trailing Falmouth 3-0 here in the 6th inning. Kevin Kerstetter, Kalen Culpepper, Mason Guerra, the 2, 3, and 4 spot hitters due up here. A 3-run second inning, lifting the Commodores over Harwich here, a team that has only put 3 combined runs against its interdivision opponent in the Mariners. Kevin Kerstetter awaiting the first pitch. The tall right-hander swings and misses on a breaking ball low for strike number 1. And the first reliever on the mound here today for the Falmouth Commodores, the right-handed junior out of TCU, and Hunter Hodges, a former Mariners pitcher we were talking about a moment ago, Devin. The 0-1 fastball missing low as it goes to 1-1. And this is interesting. He transferred from UNC Wilmington, actually pitched 2 1/3 scoreless innings for TCU in the College World Series against Oral Roberts this year. And he's already gone 4 appearances here for the Commodores, starting to find their way in the Cape Cod West Division standings. The 0-1, a cut and a miss as it goes to 1-2. And you said how it'd be interesting to see how well he fares against the Navy and Red.
Yeah, a team he played for last year was actually an all-star alternate that was added to the game. I believe he pitched in the all-star game out in Wareham last season. And, yeah, really weird to see him as someone who's been here 2 years, to see him in a rude awakening for sure.
2 balls and 2 strikes here to Kerstetter. The State College of Florida transfer is set to go to Arizona State. The 2-strike pitch bounces in front of home plate and gets the home plate umpire and Chris Kane down to almost his knees that time. Experiencing some discomfort, might have taken it on the groin, if not the knee. And he will need a moment to regather here.
Yeah, we saw that happen last game on Monday. The home plate umpire Mike Griffin being hit with a pitch, but that one was not even bouncing in the dirt. It was a direct hit. And Hodges, I recall this from last year, he has some incredible spin on that breaking ball he throws, and sometimes it gets away from him and gets spiked in the dirt, and then it's look out. Got to find a way to knock it down if you're the catcher, and gets a piece of the home plate umpire that time.
Meanwhile, Kerstetter trying to fight off a full count battle here, 0 for 2 here to start the day after making a 3 for 4 debut in that 4-run home loss to Yarmouth Dennis 2 nights ago. A righty-righty battle. The pitch grounded over towards the left side, and it's just ruled foul as it took a bounce off the third base bag. And Mike Hinojosa, the third base umpire, was not slow to make the call that time.
And Coach Mark Tebow at third base for the Mariners kind of shot a look to the dugout like, are you kidding me?
Alternating third base coaches over the past week since the arrival of Jesse Woods, another assistant here on the staff of 20th year field manager Steve Englert. Picked up his 400th win of the season in what was a 3-0 win over the Bourne Braves just during the second week of the season. Mariners now at 14-17-1. Another payoff pitch. This time it's grounded over to the left side again. Third baseman Brady steps over, fires onto first, and it's in time. Kerstetter has some speed for that 6'5" frame, but just unable to beat out the throw.
Yeah, and he's been putting the ball in. He got a base hit robbed from him back in his second at-bat in the third inning, and then had the line out in the first inning. He's just not had the leprechaun on his side here tonight.
Now 4 straight retired here from Falmouth pitching after an excellent start of 4 2/3 innings out of Jacob Smith. The first pitch to Kalen Culpepper, a fastball backing him off the plate for ball number 1. Culpepper 0 for 1 here today with the walk, and Devin, you can sense that with Culpepper and the ambition that he has at the plate to try and get Harwich its third hit. You can sense that he's due for a hit. Pitch taken low, and it bounces all the way back to the backstop. It's 2-0 here to the Kansas State product. Just returned from Team USA with the collegiate national team. Looking to give Harwich a little bit of a spark with 1 away and nobody on the base pass. And the Mariners behind 3-0 here on the road against the Falmouth Commodores, a team that has won 6 of its last 10 games. A 2-ball pitch. Fastball watched at outside as it goes to 2-1. Hodges, the right-hander out of TCU, trying to keep the Mariners quiet again here in the 6th. They were retired in order back in the 5th. The 2-1. Slider cut on and misses, goes to 2-2. Well, so far it looks like Hodges has a strong command of that vertically moving breaking ball.
Yeah, it's a 12-6. It's nasty. I mean, it just completely drops off. I remember him giving batters fits with it in Harwich last season.
Just like yesterday, the 2-strike pitch. Fastball misses outside. It goes to 3-2. So the 3-hole hitter in Culpepper. Middle of the order has been quiet here for the Mariners, aside from a 2-out base hit to left field from Brian Arndt back in the 4th. But it was a 3-run second inning that gave Falmouth its first and only lead here to this point with 1 away in the top of the 6th. The payoff pitch, a swing and a miss on a breaking ball as Culpepper strikes out for the first time here today. And there are 2 down here in the 6th.
Yeah, Falmouth rolling along, and Harwich, I mean, there's no excuse for the lack of offense they've had. Just 2 hits all game, and it's been the story. I feel like a broken record. They just have been unable to put the ball in play and ergo score runs. It's just been a really tough go, and until they can find a way to produce some consistent offense, I mean, they're their own worst enemy, no matter who the opponent is.
Yeah, 11 combined left on base the other night. The first pitch to Mason Guerra, fastball high at the letters for ball number 1. Mariners had the bases loaded at one point in which they did not score even one in the 7th to draw a little closer within their division rival, the YD Red Sox. The 1-0 to the Beaverton, Oregon native bounces in the dirt to make it 2-0. So Guerra 0 for 2 here today. Harwich behind 3-0 here against the Falmouth Commodores, just 2 hits. Looking for a little bit of explosiveness off the bat of Mason Guerra, who started the season on an 11-game hitting streak. The 2-0. And the right-handed Hodges deals it down the middle with a fastball as the count moves to 2-1. A gorgeous night for baseball here in the middle of July, a Wednesday night in Falmouth. The wind shallowly blowing out to left field. A righty-righty battle here. The 2-1. Lifted over, the shortstop's head into bars as it bounces into left field. A 2-out base hit here for Mason Guerra, and he will hold at first as the Mariners have their 3rd hit on the night.
There you go. Now you got a little something in motion. Just continue to get the base hits, continue the rallies, move runners from station to station. Just do your job, and the life will be made so much easier. Harwich always tries to get everything back with one swing of the bat, and the reality is you just got to do your role. See if Obi can do that here.
That forces Hodges, the TCU right-hander, out of the stretch. The first pitch to Obi, watched out low for ball number 1. Second hit for the top of the order here today. The first, a 2-out hit from Seaver King to third base. Obi trying to keep the line moving here with 2 down. The 0-1, banged back behind home plate, foul. 3 runs on 4 hits for Falmouth, no runs on 3 hits here for the Mariners. Runner on first here with 2 down. Hodges from the middle of the slab deals the pitch. A changeup misses low. As it's 2-1 here to the Nashville native, and Obi was ruled out on batter's interference back in the 4th. Looking to move Guerra into scoring position here after a 2-out single. A 2-1 offering. Breaking ball on the inner half, and it goes 2-2. So Obi at 6'2", 215, hitting .232 for Duke, a program that took Virginia to the limit in the Super Regionals over in Charlottesville, Virginia. That was one of the most exciting Super Regionals I saw this year. The 2-strike pitch, high and outside as it bounces off the glove of Yannick, the catcher, as that forces Guerra into second, and he won't have much trouble getting there either. A wild pitch that time, a rare instance here tonight, Devin.
Yeah, and Harwich now got to find a chance to capitalize. I mean, you got a runner in scoring position, 3-2 count, draw a walk, or punch one into the outfield for a run. Brian Arner on deck 2, that's exactly who you want in that position, so just find a way to extend the rally.
The payoff pitch taken low. Obi checked his swing, and the appeal down to first. Anthony Brunetti confirms no. So now runners on first and second here, and Obi, instead of getting that 15th RBI on the season, he was able to go the distance that time against Hodges, who would really look strong, and he showed a good sense of conservation as well because there are runners on first and second, and it's up to Brian Arndt, another solid RBI hitter.
See what Brian Arndt can do on the day. Did have that single back in the 4th inning, a blast into center field. Another big opportunity for him here.
The first pitch, the UNC Wilmington catcher taken down the middle for strike number 1.
And a couple UNC Wilmington guys going at it right here. Hodges, who of course transferred out of there. Arndt, who's currently there. And of course, Arndt caught a few outings for Hunter Hodges.
A 3-0 deficit for Harwich against Falmouth. The 0-1, a slider floating outside. As the count evens up at 1-1 here to the Holly Springs, North Carolina native. 1 for 2 here today, a 2-out single to left back in the 4th. As he works with Guerra on second, Obi on first. Harwich behind 3-0 here at Go Fuller Field. 1-1 cut on and hit back behind home plate as it goes out of play to make it 1-2. Harwich has taken Smith, the starter, and the reliever in Hodges deep here over the past few innings. Initially showed a lot of aggression early in counts, but speed on the base pass here with Guerra at second and Obi on first. The 1-2 deal. Breaking ball sliced to the right side on the ground, foul.
A defensive swing that time from Arndt. Didn't like the pitch, knew he wasn't going to be able to drive it and just found a way to get a bat on it, foul it off to avoid any sort of ring up.
Orange with 7 RBIs to this point in the season. Harwich desperate for a win here, but they have to come back first, trailing by 3. A 2-strike pitch again. Slider down and inside in the dirt, and Brunetti says no at first base as Arndt held his swing to make a new count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. You could tell Harwich is dead focused on being able to extend this inning here. Has had only 1 runner in scoring position to this point. That was back in the 4th. Left 2 runners on there and has 2 runners on here. A 2-strike pitch rolled over towards the left side. Brady, a third base, moving to his right, steps on the third base bag as that closes out the top of the 6th. So Harwich leaves 2 on again here in the 6th, scoring no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and leaving Guerra and Obi on. Mariners still looking to get out of their 3-0 deficit, but first they have to get out of the 6th without any damage here, as Harwich has no runs on 3 hits. Falmouth with 3 runs on 4 hits, moving into the bottom of the 6th here from Gulf Fuller Field. We'll step away. This is Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Harwich behind 3-0 against the Falmouth Commodores on the road here at Gulf Fuller Field in Falmouth, Massachusetts. Wyatt Copeland, Devin Dobeck here with you. A new pitcher into the ball game here is Dominic Pacone of St. Joe's. His night comes to a close. Aiden Moza, the right-hander of Alabama. Tall right-hander winds and deals the first pitch. A slider down the middle to Kyle DeBarge for strike number 1. The final line on Pacone, arguably his best outing on the season, despite giving up 3 earned runs, 4 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts dealt. The next pitch taken low and outside for ball number 1. So Pacone pitched 5 innings, and he had a season high in strikeouts. It was a magnificent outing, as Moza with 2 saves on the season in a different situation here, as 1-1 is grounded over towards the left side. Culpepper at the lip of the outfield grass, moving to his right, lobs it over to first, not in time. An infield single here for Kyle DeBarge as he moves to 1 for 3 on the day, as Culpepper seemed to be taking a little bit more time than he usually does to get over the right side.
Yeah, and that's a tough play anyway, throwing across your body while on the run. I'm surprised it was even accurate. on how difficult a play that was. A bang-bang play, and unfortunately just legged out by DeBarge.
So the two-time Sun Belt All-Conference honoree reaches first for the first time here today, as that forces Moza to work out of the stretch here against the left-hander in Cade Snell, as he watches it high and outside on a fastball for ball number 1. Harwich behind 3-0 here against Falmouth. No runs on 3 hits for the Mariners, 3 runs on 5 hits for the Commodores. At 15-15-2 on the season. 1 in Chatham last night on the road in a makeup game. The 1-0 offering, line back into the screen. 1-1.
Yeah, Moza, another guy who works really quick, similar to Picone. Right into his motion as soon as he's back out on the mound. Even out of the stretch, he's pretty efficient.
It helped him to get 2 scoreless innings, 5 punch-outs against the Wareham Gatemen. Pitch, lofted high down the left side. And that goes to 1-2 here against Cade Snell, the cleanup hitter. 1 for 2 here today, but just going back to Moza, Devin. 2 scoreless innings, 5 strikeouts against a much-needed win against the Wareham Gatemen last time. Just last week, he gave up 5 earned runs on 4 hits, was charged with a loss in that 12-6 loss at Brewster. 1 on, nobody out, the 1-2. Fastball high as it shoves Snell off the plate to make it 2-2.
Another all-star for the Mariners, too, bringing 6 to the game this year. Sean Hart, of course, the alternate, but yeah, he's had a fantastic outing just a couple days ago.
Set at belt, the 2-2. It's bounced over towards the right side. Moving to his left in Rivera, he fires onto first, and it makes the put out for a 4-3 ground out to Barge into second. And how about how many all-stars the Brewster Whitecaps have? I mean, you have Joe Oyama, Matt Hallback, Jack Penny from the Orleans Firebirds, but Brewster very much impressing, not to mention the notable freshman of Auburn, and Ike Irish, who's had an outstanding season, as there's 1 away.
Also sending 2 people to the home run hitting contest, James Tibbs as well as Jared Jones.
So Walter Yannick, the catcher, steps in, also 1 for 2. Snell falling to 1 for 3. The first pitch, a slider lofted back behind home plate, foul. A 3-0 deficit for Harwich here on the road against the Falmouth Commodores. Won convincingly last time on an excellent 4-inning outing from Dylan Delvecchio, just released by the Mariners as of this morning. Mariners had the off day yesterday to try and recuperate a little bit on a 3-game winless streak. Delvecchio, a valuable southpaw out of the bullpen for most of the year here for Harwich. 0-1 offering. Slam back behind home plate fouls. It goes to 0-2.
Speaking of the Delvecchios, Cody Delvecchio now signed to the Falmouth Commodores out of UCLA, a freshman there. Just joined the Commodores, so it would have been cool to see those two kind of catch up at the field.
Brothers moving over to the West Coast. Delvecchio set to go from Tarleton State to St. Mary's. Now a runner on second here against Moses. Still out of the stretch, the 2-strike pitch line back up the middle and into center field. DeBarge from second to third, and he gets a stop sign from Brett Becker, the third base coach, as there are runners on the corners here with still 1 away.
Yeah, another nice piece of hitting that time from Yannick, and this is something we're not used to seeing from Aiden Moza, and that's offensive production early on. He's an all-star for a reason. I mean, you just mentioned his last outing, 2 innings, 5 strikeouts. I mean, he's a guy who usually slams the door and keeps it shut and locked. But Falmouth threatening for some more offense. They haven't really had much since the second.
Well, here comes a threatening piece in Tyler McGregor. The first pitch lined over towards the right side. Rivera lets it get past him to his left into right field. That scores DeBarge from third into third. Yannick, as the throw is high, and there are runners on the corners. An RBI 1-out single here for McGregor, the graduate of Northeastern, and Falmouth has a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, they just continue to pile it on, and now they reset the runners at the corners, and be interesting to see how Moza can pitch around this. His team now down 4 runs, but haven't had the offense, so until they get that, got to just find ways to make the plays.
Was just beginning to say how much of a threatening piece McGregor is this past season. Northeastern, a .332 batter with 54 RBIs. First pitch low and inside. Here for ball number 1 to Nathan Humphreys. Still just 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th from Gulf Fuller Field. Now Falmouth ahead 4-0 over the Harwich Mariners in an interdivision battle. Runners on the corners, the 1-0 from Moza. He deals a breaking ball, swung on and missed. It goes to 1-1 here to Humphreys. Had the 2-run double back in the second to give Falmouth its first lead. It was a 3-run frame. Now adding an extra run of insurance here. A 1-1 try. Bounce over towards the right side. Guerra, the first baseman, throws on to second for 1. Culpepper, the shortstop, on to first. And it's in time. An inning-ending 3-6-1 double play as the Mariners get out of it with only 1 run of damage. But nonetheless, Falmouth has another relatively big inning here, scoring 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and leaving none on. Harwich going into the top of the 7th inning, trailing Falmouth 4-0 here from Gov Fuller Field. This is Harwich Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. The Falmouth Commodores extend their lead with an RBI single as Kyle DeBarge scores after a leadoff single to shortstop. Back on the mound here, Hunter Hodges, the right-handed junior out of TCU. Wyatt Kopelman, Devin Dobeck here with you. And Devin, the Mariners trailing by 4 runs. It seemed as if they had multiple opportunities. And back over to you for the final frames here at Gov Fuller Field.
Thank you, Wyatt. And yeah, it's been a story of stranded runners once again for the Mariners. They've stranded 6 in the ballgame, including 2 back in the top half of the 6th inning. However, Falmouth is only stranded 3, so kind of the story of the ball game there. Harwich has had the pitching and defense. Falmouth not too many opportunities, but they've cashed in when they've had them. They do have 7 hits and 4 runs to go with that. Harwich no runs on 3 hits with an error. Casey Sauke, Kennedy Jones, and Daniel Rivera due up against Hodges, the bottom third of that Mariner order. Casey Sauke on the day is grounded out to third and was the 3rd strikeout victim of Jacob Smith. It's been a long night for most of these Mariners at the plate. In addition, they've only walked 3 times. So not moving too many guys over. It's a 1-1 count now. Sauke out of Virginia, native of Rochester, New York. 6'3", 200 pounds, made his debut back on July 1st when he joined the Mariners against the Kettleers. That one misses outside, and so it'll be 2-1 to Sauke. Casey's father, Casey Sauke Sr., spent 2 years with the Baltimore Orioles organization. Orioles, although their young core has just been fantastic.
You remember the Rays had their best home start in the modern era?
Yeah.
They've come back down to earth. I mean, I don't know what it is. A little bit of injuries in that rotation, would you say?
It's weird.
Yeah.
3-1. Misses up high, and it's a 5-pitch walk to Casey Sauke from Hunter Hodges, and that's how the 7th begins here.
Sauke not too accustomed to earning base on balls, but you take the runners you can get right now. But for Harwich, had 2 runners back on in the 6th and the 4th, and they stayed on, did not come around to score. You just have to be able to find a way to get some collective hitting here. I mean, it's been a quiet lower third of the lineup, but Kennedy Jones stepping up, very much due for a hit. And opportunity still alive here, still a ball game in a 4-1 deficit for Harwich.
Comes the first pitch to Jones, and it's going to be snapped in there for a strike. 0-1. Apparently, Chatham has knotted it up with Katuitt at 12-12. Am I reading that right? They were down 9-1 and then 12-5, but according to Point Streak, it's a 12-12 ball game now. As Jones thought about swinging at that one, I think he did go around, but the ball gets by the catcher, and so down into second goes Sauke. Hyannis defeated the YD Red Sox by a score of 3-2 at Red Wilson Field. Falmouth, of course, on top of Harwich 3-0. 0-2 the count now to Jones. Brewster defeated Wareham 7-3. And Orleans on top of Bourne 3-2. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Down goes Kennedy Jones. Second time he struck out today. And the second strikeout for Hunter Hodges here. Out number 1 here in the 7th.
You know what pitcher I think the Rays are missing most right now is that right-hander in Drew Rasmussen. Has that right flexor strain and had a dazzling season last year, 11 wins, and just gave up 46 earned runs over a ton of starts.
First pitch to Rivera is zipped in there for a strike, 0-1. Mariners trailing this one 4-0, one away in the 7th, but they have Casey Sauke in scoring position. Rivera, the 9-hitter, followed by Seaver King. Here comes the 0-1. Misses up high, 1-1. Sun finally starting to fade off as we approach the top of the hour. Just 10 minutes away from that, and what's been a decent ball game to this point. Not much offense, though, for Harwich. 1-1. Big swing and miss. Rivera lost his balance there, and so it'll be 1-2 count to the Kansas State infielder. Rivera on the day is grounded out to third and struck out swinging. That was against Jacob Smith, actually the last batter that Smith faced. 1-2. Is going to be looped in a shallow right field. Going out is Bazana, and he pulls it in for out number 2 on the sinking liner. Bazana was able to scurry out into right center and make the play.
And this is where you have to get that loud contact from Seaver King. I mean, top of the order has really yet to get a hit here today, discounting the single to third that Seaver King had back in the third. But you want to be able to score at least 1 run, make it a 3-run ball game, and just try and extend this inning with 2 outs. Mariners have really yet to have that here today.
Seaver King on the day is 1 for 2. He's walked, singled, and grounded out to third. Also has stolen a base. And one of the Mariners that's had a little action on the offensive side. He's ahead in the count 1-0 as Hodges comes set in the stretch. Not worried about the runner and Sauke, and the pitch bounced in the dirt, makes it 2-0. Nice stop from Walker Yannick. Kevin Karstetter on deck. Harwich trailing by 4 here, fueled by just 3 hits. Here comes the 2-0 from Hodges, and it's going to be ripped out into center field. Long run in for Spikerman, and it drops down. Sauke didn't get a good read on it, and he will be held up at third, but Seaver King picks up his 2nd hit of the day, just the 4th for the Mariners. And yeah, Coach Tebow and Casey Sauke not on the same wavelength that time, and the Mariners miss an opportunity to score a run.
And Sauke not bringing the most speed on the base pass here for this Mariners team that needs runs right now, trailing by 4. But instead of it being an inning-ending put-out, Mariners still go conservative there. Might have been the wise choice.
Karstetter has been hot, 0 for 3 today, but had 3 hits in the game on Monday. Fouls off the first pitch he sees back over to the right, and it's 0-1. Karstetter out of Arizona State, just joining the Mariners a few days ago. He's flied out to center today and grounded out to third a pair of times, as he'll fight this one off into the seats on the right once again. Gov Fuller Field has a nice bleacher area. Big bleachers, pretty new, and able to accommodate for a plethora of fans. It will be interesting to see how White House holds up with 6,000 people rolling in there for the All-Star game on Saturday. There's been like 2,500 to 3,000 people at points this season, but not a whole lot of bleacher seating. People got to get creative, as that one's cut on and missed. Down goes Karstetter, and the inning ends. Time to stretch here at Gov Fuller Field. The Mariners trailing 4-0 as we head to the home half of the 7th. We'll be back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
like Cape Cod baseball. Rooted in rich tradition and top collegiate talent, the Cape Cod Baseball League has been delighting fans and families for 100 years. Placed on July 22nd at 6 p.m. at White House Field in Harwich. Plan ahead and arrive at White House Field early to experience family-friendly festivities throughout the day.
We welcome you back into the home half of the 7th. It'll be Gavin Turley, Kevin Brady, and John Spikerman due up for the Commodores as we have a new pitcher. Aiden Moses' night is over. He goes an inning, 3 hits, an earned run, no walks, no strikeouts. Kind of a head-scratcher to see Harwich go to the pen as Dax Daith will toe the rubber out of Angelo State, righty, 6'3", 210-pound junior out of Round Rock, Texas. And Stony Point High School, first pitch to him's in there for a strike. It's 0-1. He's made 1 appearance for the Mariners this season. Did not allow a run. Only faced 1 batter, in fact. Just got 1 out on 5 pitches. So not surprised to see him returning this quickly. That actually came back on Monday when he came in for that 1 out. Count is going to be 0-2 early to Gavin Turley. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a lineout. Next pitch is going to miss. And so it'll be 1-2. That one in the dirt.
Not much to lose here if you're Turley, entering today 3 for 34 on the season, just 4 RBIs. You can take as much time or as little as you need here against Death.
And 2 bats that he's fired our way, as that one misses just outside. 2-2.
That quick already. He's already back up.
Yep. Launched him over here.
It's like 3D animation in the movie
Yeah.
theaters. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a bat coming at you. Good thing we have this netting. 2-2. And that one just missed outside. Dave 92 on that pitch. Going to Angelo State, but last season was at Texas Tech. Didn't do a whole lot there. Appeared 5 times, only 3 innings, 2 strikeouts, 5 walks, 3 hits. Before that was at Grayson College. 3-2 pitch, misses up high, and it's going to be a 6-pitch walk to Gavin Turley.
Yeah, this will be a point. It's almost like a point of focus here for Dax. I mean, got you that 1/3 scoreless inning against Yarmouth Dennis a few nights ago. The Mariners certainly looked for a come-from-behind win there. Can get some quick outs. First-year member here of the Mariners, gave up 5 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and 5 appearances made at Texas Tech, so has some experience facing D1 talent.
Kevin Brady fouls off the first pitch he sees to make it 0-1. Brady has flied out to center and also popped out to the pitcher who at the time was Bacone. He's 0 for 2. Leading 4-0 here in the home half of the 7th. Nobody away. Dave coming set. Haven't seen him give much over to the runner as on cue he throws that one away. It'll be a free 90 feet for Gavin Turley, who will advance down to second. And probably an error on the pitcher. Yes, it will be ruled. And cost the Mariners another 90 feet. Runner in scoring position now for the Commodores.
Unforced liberties. That's how teams have gotten their edge over Harwich. When Harwich needs runs most, you look back at those errors.
Kevin Brady, as the runner takes off. And I don't know how this isn't going to be ruled interference, as the throw down was clearly impeded with Kevin Brady in the righty's batter's box. And
Brian Arndt is signaling that Brady actually infringed upon that attempt for a back pick down to third. He had a little bit of case there as well. A lot of other people noted it here at the ballpark.
So it's a stolen base for Turley, who's down into third. And yeah, it's just been a weird night for Harwich and the officiating, but again, no runs. So got to continue to just plug away on the offensive side. 2 balls and a strike. Runner at third, nobody away here in the 7th. Brady trying to pick up an RBI. The infield is in for Harwich. The pitch is going to be lined out into right field. Sauke having to come in, makes the catch. Here's the play at the plate, the throw, and he got him. ruled out. What a throw to gun down Gavin Turley. Casey Sauke in the air. Throws it right to Arndt. Arndt applies the tag, and it's a bang-bang. Fly out, put him out at the plate. What an effort that time from Casey Sauke to gun down the runner. And the Mariners save themselves a run. It remains 4-0 with now 2 away.
The transfer from Sauke out in right field, that ball got there in a hurry. Did not waste a lot of time. Didn't even take any bounces in front of Arndt as well.
It'll be a 9-2 put out to retire Turley, and there's 2 away, as that one's lifted foul to make it an 0-1 count now to the leadoff man and John Spikerman. He's flied out to center and struck out swinging, also reached on a walk and stole a base. 0-1 as Dave comes set. Here's the pitch. Misses way outside, gets all the way to the backstop and clangs off it. So the count even up at 1-1, just 81 on that pitch that time.
Chatham and Katuitt still tied at 12. Actually, that one was ruled a tie in 8 innings. My guess maybe due to darkness, Devin, at Lowell Park.
Yeah, it makes sense with such a high-scoring ball game. It's, of course, going to have that longevity factor, as this one just misses outside to make it 2-1.
Hyannis over Yarmouth Dennis, 3-2. Big win for the Harbor Hawks. They've continued to find some momentum here in this West Division.
2 balls and a strike. And the pitch from Dax Dave is just outside, and it's 3-1.
In Orleans over Bourne, 3-2.
Yeah, they've been a real pest for the Mariners, just leapfrog them, and they've only played now 30 games compared to 33 for Harwich. So that one's in there for a strike to load up the count full at 3-2. Dave looking for a scoreless 7th. He's gotten a little help from his outfielder in Casey Sauke, who was able to gun down a runner at the plate. There's now been just 2 up, the minimum, as payoff pitch is zipped right in there. Strike 3. Dax Dave struts off the mound, facing the minimum 3. Highlight of the inning, though, Casey Sauke's hose out from right field to Brian Arndt to gun down Gavin Turley. Still 4-0. Heading into the 8th, we go. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Live from White House Field in Harwich, Massachusetts, the Harwich Mariners look to keep it rolling in the... Well, it took a while to get here, but the power's back on, the burgers are on the grill, and the fans have filed in. We're ready to play baseball here on this lovely Tuesday evening. Pitch the good one, and that is going back. That's a hard hit ball. Back it goes toward the fence. Gone! The Harwich Mariners walk it on.
Top of the 8th inning, Kalen Culpepper, Mason Guerra, and Devin Obi due up for the NERS. Nolan Moore entering the game to pitch. Lefty out of Northwestern, a junior coming in with Falmouth, making his 3rd appearance. He's gone 4 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts, most recently against the YD Red Sox on the 16th. 3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, no walks, and a pair of strikeouts. Culpepper even in the count 1-1. Night is over for Hunter Hodges, the former Mariner. 2 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, 3 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Lefty kicks and fires, and it's going to be popped up in the infield. Ranging in is going to be Tyler McGregor on the infield grass. Makes the play, and that's 1 away here in the 8th. Mariners still being shut out.
And this has been a really tough stretch of 10 games here for Harwich. Hardly averaging 3 RBIs when you need to move runners over, and it's just not been the continuity that you need throughout a lineup. You get Seaver King, Kalen Culpepper back, but to this point in the game against a Falmouth team that does have the most strikeouts in the league, you'd still find other ways around to move runners, and they just haven't done that.
Guerra's turn as he watches strike 1 fly by. Guerra's flied out to center twice and also singled in the 6th. So here comes the next pitch. It's bounced in the dirt to make it 1-1. 68 that time. I tell you, Falmouth has done a great job with their pitchers as far as range of velocity. Really makes it difficult to time as an opposing hitter. As that one check swing, no, he did not. So says Brunetti. And so it's 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 pitch is going to be in there for on deck. Mariners needing to put together a late rally. Time running out. They have just 5 outs to work with. 2-2. Misses outside 3-2. And now Walker, a hit would do it for Mason Guerra. As he's just about set for the full count pitch. Moore into his windup. Here it is. It's going to be grounded softly over to the second baseman, Bazana. Over to first on the flip. And it's in time, a 4-3 putout, 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th.
It's what Falmouth has really done well tonight. Has had a couple left-handers on the mound in Smith, and now over to Moore after an excellent 2 1/3 innings out of Hodges. Just give 2 hits and 2 walks, mixed in some strikeouts as well as defense has been moving.
Devin Obie steps back in for the 4th time today, ahead in the count 1-0. He struck out swinging, retired on batter's interference, and also has walked. Most recently, that was in the 6th inning as he swings and misses at an off-speed pitch. Once again, 69, and he was way ahead of it to make it 1-1. Third pitch of the at-bat is going to be fouled off into the seats just over the netting out there on the first base line, and so it'll be 1-2. Yeah, it has been difficult for Harwich to put together any sort of offense. Just 4 hits on the day, no runs to show for it. 1-2. Misses down low, 2-2. They have picked up 4 walks, 2 from each of the previous pitchers in Smith and Hodges, but that only can take you so far. 2-2. Foul tipped. Another really slow off-speed pitch at 71 miles per hour, and Obie nicks it to stay alive.
Yeah, you'd think this is a lineup that would have its rhythm against a left-handed starter as well as a left-handed reliever now, but Harwich hitting just about .213 on the season against Southpaws.
Here comes the 2-2 to the Duke All-Star. And it's going to be whacked right into the glove of the third baseman, Kevin Brady. A line out for Devin Obie to end the 8th. A 1-2-3 they go. It has been all Falmouth here tonight heading to the home half of the 8th. Mariners trailing by 4 on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. We welcome you into the home half of the 8th. Dax Dave back out there to face Travis Bazana, Kyle DeBarge, and Cade Snell here in the home half of the 8th. Falmouth looking for a little bit more padding before the Mariners come up for what could be their final time in the 9th. They trail it 4-0. It's been no runs on 4 hits with a pair of errors for the Mariners. 4 runs on 7 hits, no errors for the Commodores. As that one misses up high to make it 2-0 now to Bazana. Bazana has flied out to center, flied out to right, and lined out to first. It's been a tough night for him. The All-Star has kind of been snake-bitten in the ball game. Here comes the 2-0. Misses outside for a ball, 3-0. He's got that interesting way of holding the bat, kind of holds it down. Almost like, I'm trying to think of a player who's holds the bat like that. I think Steve, as that will be a 4-pitch walk from Dax Dave to start the 8th inning. And there's 1 on with no away for Kyle DeBarge.
Not far off on that estimation, Devin. He actually wears number 7 as well. We knew Drew wears 7.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kyle DeBarge is 1 for 3 on the day. He struck out swinging in the first, flied out to center in the 3rd, and then singled, came around to score the most recent Commodore run back in the 6th. He's behind in the count 0-1 as Dave dials in a strike. Here comes the next pitch of the AB. Not a big lead at all for the base runner in Bazana. And it will be squirted, but off the foot first, so a foul ball ruled. And so it'll quickly be 0-2.
Harwich has walked 60 batters from the left-handed side entering tonight. It's been a very left-handed full lineup here for Falmouth.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Misses outside to make it 1-2. Dave looking for a putout here. Does have the 1 strikeout looking, which ended the 7th. Wouldn't hurt to pick another one up here with a runner on. He comes set at the belt. Checking the runner. Here's the pitch. And it's going to be chopped over to Culpepper. Takes a weird jump. Culpepper has to go up and get it and make a throw on to first. Wow, that one escalated really quickly. Culpepper, a great job to just get the 1. I mean, this thing catapulted off the lip of the infield. Culpepper had to make a sensational play just to get it in the glove and then fire over to first to get at least 1 out. And there's 1 away here in the 8th now as Bazana moves down to 2nd.
Not the first time that's happened either. Happened to Daniel Rivera at Bourne as well. And infield grass can certainly cause a little bit more lift on the baseball than you might see.
Cade Snell's turn as he watches ball 1 miss up and away.
Might expect to see as well.
Yeah,
Might.
absolutely. Cade Snell, an all-star, singled and came around to score in the 2nd, that big 2nd inning in which the Commodores were able to crack Pacone for 3 runs. He then went on to finish 5 full and was really great. Didn't allow a hit after that 2nd inning. He's on the hook for the loss as it stands right now, but definitely his best outing of the season, no doubt. 2 balls and no strikes to the batter in Snell with a runner on 2nd. It's now 3-0. Dave struggling with the control.
Tough part of the lineup to face here. Your middle 3rd that has 4 combined hits to this point. Falmouth hasn't killed the ball at the same time. You don't want to be giving up extra walks here to give Falmouth more chances, just pad that lead.
Next pitch is dialed in for a strike. Snell thought he had ball 4, but he'll have to stand back in. On deck is Walker Yannick. Commodores leading still 4-0. 3-1 pitch coming. And it's going to be dropped in there on the outside corner for a strike. 3-2. 78 on that slider from Dax Dave. Big out looming here as Dave takes a deep breath, checks the runner, and comes home. Thought about it, laid off. They appeal down to 3rd, and no. So says Mike Hinojosa. So it'll be a 6-pitch walk, and Cade Snell is on.
It's tough here for Dave to try and get just this final out here, 2 more outs rather. Instead of getting that final out, you had Kalen Culpepper for what looked to be either a 6-6-3 double play or a 6-4-3 double play. And right now, Falmouth just finding ways to extend innings as we move into later frames.
Here comes the first pitch to Yannick, and he grounds it right through the legs of Carstetter into left field, and coming around to score will be Bazana, and that will probably be an error ruled to Carstetter right through his legs. It could have been a double play, probably thought about making the play and got up before he had the ball in his glove, and sometimes when you rush it, yeah, it will be ruled an E5. And just a tough break there for the Mariners as now 5-0 ball game.
It's been that kind of night again here for Harwich, just a little bit short, particular details that have lacked.
First pitch now to the batter, and Tyler McGregor is going to miss outside for a ball 1-0. And yeah, just what could have been an inning-ending double play turns into a run, and now Falmouth continuing to threaten 2 on with 1 away here. Pitch misses it, or no, it's going to be on the inside corner for a strike, 1-1. That's the 3rd error of the ball game for the Mariners. One from Brian Arndt on a back pick down to second. And I believe Dax Dave also had one.
At first, yeah.
Yeah. I'll throw over to first. The pitch misses down low. The runner's going to take off. Arndt the throw down, and the tag not going to be in time. Really good read that time from Cade Snell, and then a hook slide around the corner of the bag. He is slow to get up, though. Maybe some dirt in his eye. But it'll be a stolen base for Snell. A great job there, although Yannick didn't pick up the same read, and he stays at first. So now runners at the corners with 1 away. Back up and running here. 2 on, 1 away. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. There goes the next runner. Arndt will throw down. Why not? And the tag in time. I'm surprised that Cade Snell didn't bolt for home, but the Mariners will take it. Brian Arndt with a cannon down to throw out the runner. And Walker Yannick make up for Carstetter's error, take him off the base paths. Now 2 away with a runner on third.
And Arndt has really helped the Mariners pick off so many thieves on the base pass this season. Harwich entered tonight with 17 thieves caught, and at least that keeps 1 off the base paths, but you still just need another out here.
It almost seems like Arndt throws out at least 1 a game. He's been so efficient and so reliable and consistent at getting the ball down, particularly to second, as that one's popped into foul territory. Carstetter ranging over. I think he has room and makes the catch for out number 3. That's how the 8th inning ends, but the Commodores add 1 more to their 4, now 5-run lead. We head now to the 9th inning. Falmouth looking to pick up another win. Mariners looking for some magic. We'll be right back on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. To the ninth we go. 5-0 Commodores, fueled by 7 hits and no errors. No runs on 4 hits with now 3 errors for the Mariners. It's been a long night for Harwich on offense. Trying to make something happen here, beginning with Brian Arndt. It'll be Arndt, Sauke, and Kennedy Jones, 6, 7, 8, due up as they look for what would be their biggest comeback of the season here in the 9th inning. I believe Hyannis came back from being down 5 or 6 earlier this season. That was the biggest comeback in the 9th inning in the point streak era. So who says Harwich can't do it right here? It's a ball and no strikes now to Brian Arndt, who's 1 for 3 on the day. Fouls off the next pitch to make it 1-1. Call to the bullpen. Nolan Moore's night is over. 1 inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Just about all you can ask for in a little setup guy as Garrett Coe, the all-star closer, toes the rubber for the Doors. Coe out of Yukon. Played for Commodores manager Jeff Trundy in high school at the Gunnery School. All Big East tournament team. He's been fantastic, an all-star. Ahead in the count, 1-2 on Brian Arndt. 7 starts in 22 games for the Huskies this season. 6-3 record, 4.42 ERA. As the 1-2 is going to be fought off foul. Also surrendered just 27 earned runs, 47 strikeouts to 30 walks. The walks are the problem for the big lefty. He's still ahead 1-2 as he goes into his windup, and the off-speed pitch is another broken bat, it sounded like, to Brian Arndt. He's going to have to rush the throw over to first. That is DeBarge, and it's there in time. 6-3 put out for out number 1 here in the 9th.
Just been a lot of ground ball contact, the exception of the in-inning lineout from Obi. This has been one keenly aware defense here tonight to just give 3 southpaws on the mound some serious help, and you would think that having a lot of right-handers in the lineup that the Mariners do would be a little stress-inducing, but it's been anything but that.
Rare instance where Harwich could be shut out as Sauke watches a ball miss down low to make it 1-0. Coe set and fires to make it a 1-1 count. Blew it by him at 86 miles per hour. Excuse me. Harwich has shut out teams twice, but on the risk of being shut out for, I believe, what would be their 2nd or 3rd time this season. 2 balls and a strike to Sauke as that one misses up. Sauke on the day is 0 for 2 with a ground out to third, a strikeout swinging, and a walk. Fouls this one off the catcher and Walker Yannick, and so it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It'll just be the 2nd time that Harwich has been shut out. The other time where it was 1 hit against Orleans.
Yeah, that was a violent one. Broke up the no-hitter in the 9th with a Devin Obi single to right center as that off-speed pitch just floats over the zone. Really good pitcher's pitch from Garrett Coe, but can't get the call. 3-2. Fought off by Sauke, and so we'll stay there at 3-2. Jones on deck, followed by Rivera. Should we get that far? Harwich trailing 5-0 here in the top of the 9th at Gov Fuller Field. Payoff is going to be fouled off again. Sauke putting together a decent at-bat here, trying to keep his team alive. Highlight of the day for Sauke was fielding a fly out in right field and then gunning down Gavin Turley at the plate to save Harwich a run. As he punches out this time on the full count pitch, Garrett Coe wins the battle, and so now there will be 2 away.
Changeup kind of looked like a high fastball that time, and Coe dialing in at around 85 miles an hour. Left-hander just getting a little bit of advantage on Sauke. Still looking for that first hit here today. And it's been tough goings for him for a part of these last 5 games. Kennedy Jones as well, needing some timely hitting.
Coe just 1 save on the season. Not a save scenario here with the score being 5-0 as Jones ahead in the count 1-0. He's had a tough day at the plate. Pair of strikeouts, both swinging. He's also grounded softly out to the pitcher, who at the time was Hunter Hodges. 2-0 pitch is going to be chopped foul back towards the Mariner dugout, right in the direction of Jesse Woods. Harwich down 5-0. 2-1 is going to miss up high, 3-1. Harwich will take any rally they can put together, especially at this point in the ball game. So here comes the 3-1 from Coe. And it's going to be whacked but foul off to the left. And so the count worked full once again. I tell you, Coe not making it easy for himself. Making himself throw pitches, get deep in accounts. Harwich being persistent. Payoff is going to be popped into foul territory. Long run over from McGregor, and it will land in foul territory. Also, Humphreys was barreling on in from right field, but Kennedy Jones stays alive. A really nice night here at Gov Fuller Field, right around the 75-degree mark. And just a cool, perfect summer night for baseball. No bugs. It has just been awesome as Kennedy Jones trying to extend this ball game, being encouraged from his teammates and coaches from the dugout. Payoff pitch coming from Garrett Coe once more. I feel like I've said that a handful of times as well, Wyatt. Here it is. And it's going to be fought off. Jones being reluctant to be set down by way of the K for the third time. Seems really dialed in this at-bat. Coe into his windup. Here it is. Misses up high. And it's a walk for Kennedy Jones to extend the game. Daniel Rivera trots in with 1 on and 2 away in the 9th.
And Harwich at this point, 5 for 13 in 2-out situations. Jones doing something that Harwich hasn't really done too frequently here tonight, only earning a small handful of walks. A really nice job against the southpaw to work around him.
First pitch to Rivera in there for a strike to make it 0-1 at the letters. Rivera on the day 0 for 3. A ground out to third, a strikeout swinging, and a pop out to second. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Right down Broadway, Rivera laying off, and it's 0-2. Seaver King on deck, top of the order. Coe checking on the runner and Jones. He's barely being held on. The 0-2 misses up high, 1-2. Commodores this season with a record of 15-15-2, trying to get above 500 once again with a win here. Here comes the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Might have been foul tipped, but it will be strike 3 to end the ball game. The Mariners fall to 14-18-1. Still remain in third place in that Cape Cod East Division standing, but it has been a tough go. Now a 4-game winless streak for them. We'll break it all down on the other side in the Harwich Mariner postgame show, but for now, 5-0 Commodores, your final. Take a quick break and be back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. We welcome you into the Harwich Mariners postgame show. Devin Dobek joined by my colleague Wyatt Kopelman as the Mariners fall 5-0 and fall now to 14-18-1. Wyatt, they have just been in a free fall plummet down through the East standings. I mean, you think about a team that started 9-4 this season. Since then, they've won just 5 games while losing 5-13 and tying one. So they're 5-13-1 in their last 19 games. It has been a really, really tough stretch, being shut out for the second time here tonight and the second time this week. They were also shut out against the Orleans Firebirds back on July the 13th. So it has just been a whole lack of offense. They scored just 4 runs against Wareham, 3 against Brewster, 5 against Hyannis, 3 against YD, and none here tonight. That's dating all the way back to Orleans. What's been the problem?
And you have to consider how even an influx of talent on the roster, you get Seaver King, Kalen Culpepper back. I mean, we've harped on it a couple of times, but for Harwich just not to get those runners in scoring position home with 2 outs. I mean, Harwich is hardly hitting 190 this season with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. You know, you consider the early leads that Harwich had established during that 5-game win streak. You allude to how Harwich has been shut out twice in the last 5 games, a clear discrepancy between the lack of RBI production, even with such strong hitters on the roster, not even those two, but also Ethan Anderson, Casey Sauke. And then you even consider Kennedy Jones, who's dropped off a little bit, had a grand slam earlier in the year and a 3-run home run as well. Devin Obie with a grand slam earlier last week against Chatham for what was a resounding win. So it's been a tailspin of lack of RBI production, and that's what's really hurt the Mariners the most right now. Not to mention that you don't
blame the pitching when you don't have the offense, and Harwich has not had the offense by any means, or even the defense. They commit 3 errors once again here tonight, and their total extends all the way to now 40 errors on the season through what's been 33 games they've played now. So committing more than an error a game, it's just been a really tough go on all sides. And just when it seems like they're going to take a step in the right direction, it seems like they take 3 back. I mean, not having offense, not going to win you baseball games. And Falmouth, a team who, yes, can compete, but they're still a 4th-place team in the West. You got to at least find a way to put up some runs against them, and being held to just the 4 hits isn't going to do that.
Your starter, Dominic Pacone, the right-handed hurler out of St. Joe's, gave you a chance here tonight as well, Devin. Season-high 5 strikeouts. He only gave up 3 earned runs. And, you know, for Pacone, when you consider how well you can set up yourself to give the lineup a chance, that's about as best as you can do for a Falmouth team that's really begin to catch some momentum over the last 10 games. It's won 6 of its last 10. It had a good win against Chatham last night, which, although it's towards the bottom of the Cape Cod East Division standings, always can put up a fight from its lineup at home at Veterans Field. And it has second most RBIs in the Cape Cod Baseball League. So you'd almost have to think or draw a conclusion, if you're Steve Engler, that you're going to probably see your starter surrender 2 or 3 earned runs, if not 4 or 5, against a team that's begun to heat up with its lineup. A couple of Oregon State products that have done well, and some all-stars out of the position players. So for Pacone, he had an outstanding outing, and you can't be disgruntled with yourself that you did go maybe 1 or 2 extra earned runs than you might have. You just need to look to your lineup and see what else you can get from it, because right now there's not a lot to extract.
Exactly, and, you know, let's be clear, this is a problem that can be solved. You still have a 9-point lead. That's also 4.5 games on the Chatham Anglers, who would be not making the playoffs. So the threshold, you still have 9 points on what would put you out of the playoffs. So a good margin to kind of figure things out with just 11 games left in the season. You'll be able to kind of figure it out in that time frame, but for right now, it has just been a really, really difficult go. Mariners just continuing to struggle. You did get a good game out of Seaver King as well, in addition to Pacone. King on base 3 times, had a pair of singles, a walk, stole a base. He was good, but other than that, you can't really look to too many positive. Casey Sauke gunned a man out from right, as you put it. Could have been the defensive highlight of the season. There's just been a really lack of offense, and we'll keep hope. We can hone on that all day, but there's always tomorrow. And tomorrow's against the Katuitt Kettleers, a really difficult opponent. 6:30 back at White House Field. The lights are back up and running, so that's a positive we can take away as well. But looking forward to that one as we finally close this one up. A game that took 2 hours and 26 minutes on a 76-degree night here in Falmouth. The winning pitcher is a familiar face, Hunter Hodges. Mariner from last year picks up the win. Dominic Pacone credited with the loss in what was his best outing of the year. Just cards didn't fall his way. Final box score, Falmouth 5 runs on 7 hits with no errors. Harwich no runs on 4 hits with 3 errors. And that is where we will leave you. So on behalf of our entire media team, our producer, Sean Sears, my partner, Wyatt Kilpelman, and myself, Devin Dobeck, thank you so much for joining us on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. And always remember,